Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Staying Compliant with KW Advanced Consultant. My name is Keisha Wilson. I am the founder of KW Advanced Consultant, and thank you so much for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting on different social media platforms. I truly appreciate all the support, and I'm so happy that these videos are really helping you guys on a day-to-day basis with your workflow. So today we're going to be talking about, I know last time we talked about the problems addressed and what is a problem when we were talking about the evaluation and management services. But I wanted to put a pause on that for a second and talk about the OIG 7 elements of an effective compliance program. So the OIG, the Office of Inspector General, if you have not subscribed to their newsletter, you definitely want to because they send out amazing alerts regarding fraud, waste, abuse, anti-kickback, Stark, you name it. But they actually came out with this amazing guide in November of 2023. It's 91 pages long, and it lists the 7 elements of an effective compliance program. And one of all 7 are important. We're about to go over them, but one in particular I wrote about recently in an article last month about training and education. But before we go over training and education, I just want to share my screen and so we can go over all 7 of them together. So the 7 elements of an effective, successful compliance program. Number 1 is written policies and procedures. You want to make sure your organizations have policies and procedures in place so that your staff can follow and everyone's on the same page when it comes to guidelines and when certain risks happen, what is the procedure and what policies are we following? Number 2, compliance leadership and oversight, right? And they're talking about boards and compliance officers and who we can report to. You definitely want to understand and go through that. Number 3, training and education. I'm going to circle back to this one. Really important when you have anyone, staff in general working, you always want to educate them. Things change every year. Remember, we always have those HIPAA training, guidelines change. I'm going to come back to this in a second. Number 4, effective lines of communication with the compliance officer and disclosure program. So employees know how they can effectively communicate with a compliance officer in case a risk was identified or if they notice something and need to make a report. Number 5, enforce standards, consequences, and incentives. And this information you're going to learn when you do a lot of training and education. Number 6, risk assessments, auditing, and monitoring. It's important when we identify risk in an organization or physician-based practice. You want to audit these services or procedures or whatever it was the risk, right? You want to review. And then once you have a finding, you do some education, and then you monitor it going forward. Number 7, responding to detective offenses and developing corrective action incentives. So besides finding the risk, auditing, and monitoring, you also want to develop correction action plans so that things don't happen again, right? Makes sense. So I want to take a step back and go to number 3, training and education. Why I'm here as I talk about evaluation and management, as I teach the CPMA and CPC in different courses, and we reach to the evaluation and management section or to all the sections, right? Anytime you're billing, right, there's CPT codes, HCPCS codes, modifiers, diagnosis codes going out, there's risks, right, that we could be doing it wrong. And so you always want to make sure you're monitoring that we're training. October 1st of every year, there's new ICD-10 codes that come out in guidelines. January 1st of every year, we have new CPT codes and HCPCS codes. So there's always learning and education that we have to do in the realm of coding and auditing, right? It never stops once you get your certification. So it's important if you're in an organization, well, whether it's hospital-based, if you're working on the insurance company side, if you're working on the physician side, that your organization is providing continued training and education for you, whether it's coming on YouTube, right, and listening to our videos and learning from there, or if they have consultants like me coming into your organization to do training and education, or the other amazing consultants that's out there, or they have training that they do in-house, whether they have you do it on the computer, they send you to conferences, you're attending webinars, whatever it is, you always want to continue learning. And you also want to share. It's important to do research, but it's important to have a lot of training and education. And what we're noticing in the realm of coding and auditing, not a lot of organizations, they may not have compliance plans, but they're not even training and educating their staff. And there's a big risk there. So you also want to take a look if you have not been on my website, kwadvancedconsultant.com. I write various articles. And one of them that I wrote last month was the importance of training and education in a compliance for a successful organization. And this, I took the topic from one of the 7 elements. And as I work with organizations and physician-based practice, and I teach, I see the need for education. So you want to take a look and see what I dive into regarding the value of accuracy and efficiency for organization, how to mitigate legal and financial risks, the importance of documentation and coding training, what I was talking about with the code changing, promoting culture of continuous improvement and ensuring successful organization outcomes. So these are always important. Remember, we talked about the evaluation and management services. We shifted from 2021 E&M to 2023 evaluation and management services. And not everyone's on the same page, right? Not everyone know that there was changes. We may have physicians that are maybe still on paper that we need to get on electronic health records, right? So risks are not continuing to happen day to day, but we also need to train them on evaluation and management services and to make sure that they're billing and documenting accordingly. Remember, a patient's record is a legal record, and we want to make sure we're doing so compliantly. So I hope this was helpful. I always love chatting with you guys. I hope you leave comments below. Like, subscribe, and share. And let me know if this was helpful. Does your organization have a compliance program? Do you feel like they need one? And what do you feel, which one is the most important one? I love all, but training and education is my heart. So thank you again. I hope you guys have an amazing day and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.